You're still with me, Frank Tietie, and it's Law Times. In Law Times, we actually deal with issues with that legal swab, whether they're contemporary issues or issues of interest to the Nigerian public and to the world at large. And I'm very excited, I must say, that I have right here with me someone I've known for quite a long time. I've shared the number with, back to over 30 years, and she's blazed a lot of trail. And I feel quite excited to introduce Dr. George Amadi. Dr. George Amadi is a UK-based lawyer and a cleric who pastors one of the fastest growing churches in the United Kingdom. And I'm talking about the Good News Bible Church. Dr. George, you're welcome, and my pleasure. Can I have a handshake with you?
Thank you very much.
Great. Now, this is interesting. I like the fact that you are able to traverse these two noble professions. First, as a clergyman, you started out even, and then you became called to the Nigerian bar. You also moved on to the United Kingdom, and you're a solicitor in the United Kingdom, running your own firm. How are you able to combine these very two inscrutable, I would say, professions?
Well, that's a question a lot of people have asked me on so many occasions. One thing it's about passion. And whatever you have passion for, you give your best for it. And I would say that I have passion for both. I became a Christian at a very young age, as you are aware, and I had a very good passion for that, to see people their relationship with God, getting better, and I pursued that for a long time until I became a lawyer, which was also my second passion, because I have always been someone that is interested in fighting for people, fighting for justice, right from when I was in the high school. I always don't want to see people oppressed. And these were part of the things that, pushed me to become a lawyer as well. And, one of the things I tell people is that one of the ways you know your gifts and your talent and your calling is what you can do without being paid. Something that you find out that's what I call passion. When you have something that wakes you up, at night to make sure that things are working. And this is one of the things that gives me the push to be both a clergy and also a lawyer at the same time. And I've never combined both of them, give them the attention they deserve. And I can say I've been successful in both.
Yeah. Now, undoubtedly, you are a very expressive Christian,
Yeah.
and you're also a minister of the gospel. Minister in the sense that you're trying to bring out the blessing of whatever the gospel has
Yeah.
for people. I think that's what the essence of the gospel is. However, um, how are you able to really appreciate politics with this philosophy, with the Christian philosophy? Because I say this in the background that I know you were a very strong supporter of the former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson.
Yeah. Well, I believe I'm one of those clergy that believe that Christians should be involved in politics. In fact, if given the opportunity, I want the Christian body to train people, Christians, who will be the Daniels and the Josephs of our time. Daniel was a politician. People may not understand that. Joseph was a politician. These people, because in their time they were kings, there were no, what we have as presidents and prime ministers today, but they were all involved in politics and they were godly people. So, and you see, someone said that if good people don't get involved, then bad people will always prevail. So we need to get involved in politics. Christians must be trained to be involved in politics without any blemish whatsoever. So one of the things, this is one thing that inspires me to get involved in politics. So, and I believe also in looking, I don't vote anyhow. I don't just go out to vote for people just because of their name. Before I vote for you, I look at your policies. I look at what you bring into the table. I look at if it is closely aligned to what I believe. If it's not, then I have nothing to do with you. But if it is, then definitely I'm going to support you. And that was one of the things that made me to support Boris Johnson, because the conservative and also possibly action. Yeah, remember when we were in the university and we had, campus politics going on. And there was this problem of court boys handling so many things in the student union government, and there were riots, school being closed down. I was one of those that came up with the idea that Christians should take over, that Christians need to get involved. And one of the things I did was to push forward my roommate at that time, who was a Christian, Kingsley, I'm sure you remember him, Kingsley Obo. And he came out overwhelmingly won the election and became the first major born again Christian student union president that we had. Discovered that became like, for me, I understood that Christians could actually change things when they want to. And that was one of the main reasons why I supported somebody like Peter Obi when he came up. They don't have to be really Christians in terms of maybe properly born again and all that, but their principles, the fact that they identify with Christianity, like Trump is doing, that was one of the reasons why I supported Boris Johnson. And one of the main things I look out for when I want to vote is principle. What do you believe in? It's not just about you being born again, because there are not many born again Christians in politics. But then if your politics aligns with what I believe in, then I am obliged to support you, because I can't support you if your policies are totally against what I believe in.
So if Rishi Sunak, for example, who's, I believe, a Hindu, had, aligned with the certain principles, despite the fact
I
that
will support him.
you support him as a,
Yes.
so there's no problem with you supporting a certain Boris Johnson who is, viewed as someone who has not kept to the ideals of the Conservative
By
Party.
the way, I supported Richie because because let me put it this way. In general, I support the Conservative Party.
Yeah.
Because of the principles.
So it doesn't matter whether it was Boris Johnson or Rishi Sunak. And then I'm more interested with the fact that, and I think I got the answer from you, why you are more aligned to the British Conservative Party. So we will move on to maybe something a bit more professional now, because I know how much you like to talk about the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And if we can keep talking about that forever, but you're a lawyer, right? And you're already a lawyer in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, called to the Nigerian bar. You actually had a stint in practice while you were in Abuja, and then you moved to the United Kingdom. And then how come you chose to practice as an immigration lawyer when your country, your home country, I would say, your country of origin, Nigeria, has a reputation for persons who want to flee their home country for greener pastures in Western Europe? So why did you choose to become an immigration lawyer? Is it to help your country, fellow countrymen to immigrate all over the world?
Well, you see, when I got to the UK, I was just into general practice or sort of practice. I worked with lots of local authorities and all that, private law firms and all that. But then one of the things that led me to major in immigration was both circumstantial and also my sort of decision. One was I discovered that while practicing, a lot of people coming from abroad were needing my attention. People coming from Nigeria particularly were being referred to me by their pastors. Of course, being a pastor, I know loads of pastors in Nigeria. So there was always this referral. Somebody's coming, I have somebody coming, please could you help them? They've got problem with their papers. I need somebody, a lawyer I can trust. And so I was getting so many referrals from pastors, from acquaintances, people that knew me and all that. So at the end of the day, when I decided, when my ministry, when the church work became very large and I could not cope with general practice, and I discovered that I needed to just focus on something in order to have enough time for ministry, I decided to think about it. And I discovered I had a lot of clientele in the area of immigration. And I also discovered that was another area that I had so many people coming in, and I just wanted to help people.
And then that brings in the very all-important question. Are you very excited, or rather happy, saying that from your country of origin, Nigeria, many citizens from your country, home country, Nigeria, want to leave the country? In fact, it has been, described as the Japa syndrome. And as an immigration lawyer, you must be concerned. The question, therefore, is: are you excited? Are you happy about it?
Well, it's a mixed feeling for me. Mixed feeling in the sense that many people that are leaving have good reasons to leave. And but I also believe in building the country as well. So that's why I say it's a
But
mixed
you
feeling.
didn't stay. If I at the time you were very much settled in the UK, if I wanted to come to the UK, it would have been very easy for you to take me. I mean, to bring me over to the UK.
Yes.
You know, but somehow you could have. I'm sure if I wanted, you could have. And you didn't stay. So why would you, expect some others to stay and build the country?
Well, my relocation was also circumstantial in a way. It was not something I sat down and decided, okay, I'm moving at this time or that. A lot of things led to it. If I had other options, alternative, probably I would have stayed as well. Now, I'd say this to the Nigerian government. It's quite alarming and quite disturbing when you see things the way things are going. One of the things causing problem, some of the things causing problem in this country, religion and ethnic issues and all that. When we got to the UK, I give you a good example. In less than 5 years, 6 years, we had become citizens, and nobody cared where we came from. Nobody cared where. I'm just giving you one good example. There are so many I can talk about, which Kemi had, talked about some of them as well. Nobody cared where we came from. And in less than 6, 7 years, my wife contested for an election in the UK under the Labour Party at the time, because then I was still studying the parties. But my wife is more into politics than myself. And she contested and won as a councillor.
Oh, in the Labour Party?
In the Labour Party.
But you don't believe in the Labour Party?
I did at the time, because now she's joined me in the Conservative Party.
No, what do you mean? You left Nigeria. You immigrated from Nigeria,
yes.
right? And you got to the United Kingdom.
Yes.
Now, you not only became a citizen, you and your wife didn't just become citizens.
Yes.
Your wife contested election.
Yes.
And won.
Yes.
In one election, a council election in the United Kingdom.
And she was the first black woman to win the election in Harrow Council.
Wow, that's interesting.
She was very popular. And there was a time the news...
And that becomes a positive story.
Yes.
To the immigration issue, right?
Exactly.
The question, therefore, is, I go back to it, and I'm very, very, emphatic on this as much as I can. First, you should be concerned that there is massive intention to immigrate out of Nigeria, and then there is really a Japa syndrome, in quote, of young people being very restless, who want to leave this country, and you are an immigration lawyer. Does that sound like good music to you as someone who has his origins in Nigeria?
Now, that's where I was going to. Incentive is the word. What incentive does the government give the young people to stay? That's where the problem...
But as an immigration lawyer,
yes,
whose, trade will be improved by the number of, and I use the word clientele, all right, the number of clients and then the clientele that is either increased in number. You expectedly, I know you to say you have mixed feelings about immigration as an immigration lawyer. Does it not bother you economically, politically, and in futuristic terms that our country has been described to have, has a problem that's been described as Japa syndrome?
It bothers me. But then, in a way, like I said, when you can't help an issue, the only thing you can do is to look for a solution. People are running for so many reasons, and I tend to understand why. While it bothers me, I'm also looking at the other side. The other day, I was discussing with the Honorable Commissioner, and I was excited. He was doing a few things.
You're talking about Honorable Chima Okorie?
No, the one in Lagos, our friend.
The Honorable Commissioner is doing fantastically well. I'm talking about Tokunbo Wahab, who is cleaning up Lagos in astronomical terms, yes.
Yes, he did something, and I sent him a text. I was so excited about it. And I said to him, this is how it should go. What did he do? There was a demolition to take place in the market. And he went there with security and with megaphone and everything, and was telling the people, you don't want to do this anymore because in 3 days' time we are coming back and we're going to remove your stuff. We're going to seize your stuff and all that. And I was very excited.
You mean Tokubo Wahab went there to do it by himself?
He went there by himself.
And you like the fact that the standard he was operating by...
He was humane.
Yes, and it's something that you feel it's up to the standard you have in other places in the world, right?
Exactly, because at the end of the day, one problem we have in this country is we are not humane. Yeah. We demolish people's houses and they have no alternative. We demolish people's businesses. They have not. We don't give them an alternative. There's no compensation.
Is that the reason why they should immigrate and get out of the country?
People are worried. Jobs. There are no jobs. They are not creating jobs. When last did the president build a factory in this country? Have you ever thought about that? No, but when we are growing up, there was DSC.
Oh, yes, we are.
NMPC.
The understanding is that government should create an enabling environment for all of these things to thrive. Yes,
and they are not.
No, but now I'm stuck with this Japa thing.
They are not.
I'm hoping to see whether or not you want to discourage people from leaving Nigeria.
How do you, Frank, discourage people from leaving a place where they are going through hell?
And is it because you're an immigration lawyer or because you think they are suffering?
I think they are suffering. It's not because I'm an immigration lawyer.
No, but don't you think of the implications that you are a British citizen? Are you trying to encourage Nigerians who are suffering to leave Nigeria and go to the United Kingdom, where you were not suffering in Nigeria, but when you left, we left for the United Kingdom?
But
in fact, you were doing very well when you were in Nigeria.
I was working
you established a church in Abuja. It was growing so fast.
Yes.
We were aware of it when you left the law school. So there wasn't any reason for you to really go to the United Kingdom because you were doing very well.
That's right.
Where many of your colleagues in practice hadn't achieved certain things, you had surpassed them.
Yeah.
So, but this case now, so you didn't go to the United Kingdom because you were suffering.
Yeah.
But are you trying to say that because there was so much hardship in Nigeria now, Nigerians should legitimately aspire to run away from Nigeria to a good place like the United Kingdom, so to speak?
The word aspiration might not be the right way to describe it. It's more of desperation. Because at the end of the day, we are churning out graduates. We need to be realistic. We just need to be frank about the whole thing. We are churning out so many graduates and 80% of them don't have a job. And then they have, for example, the UK. I give you a very good example. There is what they call the healthcare system, which is what they're using, the COS, certificate of, to work in the UK. That's been given to a lot of people. Now, the UK offers that if you come to work for us, we'll pay you so and so amount. The bankers in this country working, some of them what the cleaners earn in the UK. The bankers are not earning up to half of it.
You mean the bankers in Nigeria?
In Nigeria, yes. Now, that's another aspect altogether. Then you talk about people that don't have any job whatsoever. Why churning out so many graduates and there's no job? That's what I'm talking about. When last did somebody create, like we talk about the enabling environment, the government is not creating that. Look at what is going on with the economy. The value of the naira and all that. So there's a problem, there's a systemic problem in the country. And when people are not just going to sit down and die, they are going to take risk. And part of that risk is the Japa. That's what we are seeing as Japa syndrome.
Not about that.
Some people are selling their lands to travel.
Yeah.
Some are selling everything they have to travel.
So as an immigration lawyer, I would say, and this is law time, so we really focus on you as a lawyer.
Yeah.
And we're super excited that you, for 40 whole years, you combined of course, you did ministry work for 40 years, and your later years you combined with, and it's going quite a long time you've been called to Nigerian bar. All of which you've done very well, no scandal whatsoever, and your testimony is all over the place about the fact of people who have been blessed by your ministry and people who have also had professional services from your firm, Eden Immigration. Eden Immigration.
Yes.
We're still on this immigration.
Yes.
We know it's quite, incompatible that as an immigration lawyer, you want to discourage people from immigrating.
Yeah.
However, would you really look at Nigeria today and think that suffering and desperate young people should take to immigration as a response to the situation?
Well, if you want to answer the question sincerely, the first thing you say, what is the alternative? And that's where the whole thing blows up. What's the alternative? If I tell you to sit down here, remember the story of the lepers in the Bible. They sat down and they said, if we stay here, we die. If we move, we may also die.
Yeah.
But it's better we take our chances and move. We may survive. And they moved and they survived. So at the end of the day, the Nigerian story is just like that of the leper. To be sincere, I want this country to develop. I want this country to move forward. I want the young people to stay. But when you now see what the young people are going through, I come to Nigeria at least once a year. And I have first-hand experience of what young people are going through in this country. I know how many people I support financially in this country, both to go through secondary school, to go through university. And then when they graduate, many of them don't have a job. I'm still running up and down trying to see if I can help them get a job. There is no job anywhere.
And you probably still send money for food.
And I still send money for food. So we need to be realistic. So the question is not whether I'm encouraging them to move or not encouraging them to move. The question is, what is the alternative for them? Listen, if the government creates the so-called enabling environment, I assure you, many people, possibly including myself, will come back to Nigeria.
That's interesting.
Yes.
That's interesting. I think we should close on a note of hope. Yes. You started the Good News Bible Church right here in the city of Abuja. You've also, when you went to the United Kingdom, you also, started there. This same Good News Church, I believe. And I think that your message is, as a gospel minister, is set to resonate with so much hope. I like that you speak some hope to the young Nigerian before we close this conversation.
Yes, there is hope. And I believe that things are changing gradually. I think Nigeria is becoming a bit more progressive, the way I look at things. The only problems we have is insecurity and, of course, good governmental management. But I think there is hope when you look at the crop of politicians that we are having. Now, let's put it this way. Some few years ago, we had military dictatorship. Yeah. And so that is a massive progress for us. Yeah. Right now, we have civilian democracy. And to me, that's a major progress. Some few years ago, we were having old people just ruling us in their 60s, 70s and all that. But now we have a crop of young people coming up. I see in Nigeria where very soon some of the young governors we are having, like Peter Obi, and we talked about people like Kwankwaso, we talked about some other people coming. There's this guy in the South, I think Donald Duke, that everybody also talked about at one time. There are a crop of young people coming up. And time will come, with all things being equal, that we're going to have a crop of politicians that will change this country for good. So I believe that there is hope in Nigeria. And I believe that the future is very bright for this country. We are rich. We don't have any reason to be jackpying, to be very sincere. Because I live in the United Kingdom, the economy of the United, what we use to make the UK what it is today, Nigeria has much more than that.
That's interesting.
Yes, UK, what kind of natural resources does UK have? Let's start from there. The UK actually survives on tax. Yes, that's why they tax everything. You drive on the road, they tax you. You watch your TV, they tax you. Water, they tax you. We have everything 24 hours, but we pay through our nose. It's not free. But in Nigeria, we've got all sorts of minerals, all sorts of natural resources. Talk about them, we have them. We could be one of the richest countries in the world.
Oh, fantastic.
And our people could live a very beautiful life. But the problem we have is the top. So
you've been mentioning young people. And the names you just mentioned are not so young people. You mentioned Donald Duke, you mentioned Peter Obi, you mentioned Rabiu Kwankwaso. These guys may be young when they were governors, but they are not so young. So it brings up the issue of mentorship, you know. And I'd like for you to speak about that. Because do you see a political mentorship that is effective in the Nigerian system? And even you, as a gospel minister, how much of mentorship programs are you setting up to ensure that you replicate yourself? Because as a young person, you're a man of distinction, both in terms of academics and to the love of your life. I'm talking about the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Yes.
So what's going on about mentorship? What are your thoughts about mentorship?
Yes, I do hope, and sincerely do hope, that the politicians will mentor the good ones, because I don't want us to replicate what the bad ones are doing.
So you don't support godfatherism?
I don't support,
but you support mentorship. So
yes,
we should be looking forward to a new model of mentorship.
A new model.
But has that been demonstrated? And even in ministry, we want to say, for example, we usually hear of church conflicts as a result of succession issues. Yes. So that could have actually been resolved if people like you, who are Christian leaders and also learned people, are able to, formulate mentorship policy and programs that can actually help.
That's right. Personally, I've set up a mentoring organization right now, and a lot of young people have been encouraged to register, and we're working on that very strongly. But then in politics, I also believe that something like that should happen as well. I'm not seeing much of that in politics. What I see is this issue of godfatherism and the fights going on. And of course, you know what's happening in Rivers State and all that. Yeah. So Nigerians need to wake up. If we really want to think about the future of this country, we need to be sincere to ourselves and have policies. For example, why can't a governor come and continue after 8 years, continue from what his predecessor did and build on it and make it better, rather than just rubbish everything and then start afresh? This is some of the problems we're having, because there is no succession plan. There's no 20-year plan, no 30-year plan for a state, for a country. And so things are just getting out of hand. But if we come up, if we're sincere with ourselves, there are a lot of things we need to teach our people. For example, somebody once mentioned we need to bring back history in this country. We need to talk about it. We need to talk about pan-Nigerianism, not just pan-Africanism now. Talk about where people are in the UK, the people are proud to die for their country. The average American is proud to die for his country. But in Nigeria, how many of us are really proud to die for Nigeria?
I'm not aware of anyone. I'm not really aware. But everybody's actually thinking of how much they can take from Nigeria.
How they can take from Nigeria. So we need to wake up. That's why I gave you that example that in less than 6-7 years, we were establishing the UK. We were able to contest for anything. Nobody cared where we came from.
And that's the exciting part of it. You contested an election and you won.
Can you do that in Nigeria? Let me say something, because I don't know who is watching this, but it's very important for us to understand this. My uncle was born in Kano State, grew up in Kano State, spoke Hausa more than the Hausa people, because he was born and bred there. But there was a riot that came up in Kano State, and the first thing they did was to point him out as an Igbo man. He narrowly escaped with his life. Now, this is the problem I'm talking about. And this is not just about Kano State or the North or anywhere. I'm talking about tribe, ethnic issues. When you want to fill a form, they ask you where is state of origin. We need to.
So are you saying it's not? Don't they fill such kind of information in forms in the United Kingdom?
They don't.
Okay.
You need to remove these things. We need to, if we want to be Nigerians, we need to be Nigerians.
We keep talking about this, and I hope that efforts can actually be made to see that we improve on this.
Yes. If I'm a Nigerian, I'm a Nigerian. If I'm in Kano, I should be able to feel at home and say I'm from Kano State.
I think it's a work in progress, and I must say a big thank you to you and to those of us who have been listening and being part of this conversation. I hope that you add your thoughts and make your comments, and also do not forget to subscribe to this channel, because we shall be having from time to time these kind of conversations with personalities, legal personalities like Dr. George Amadi. And Dr. George, there's another aspect of your life, and which is not very known to many people, and that you're quite a down-to-earth person. In your university days, one of your favorite songs was "Who's Going to Tell the Child About Jesus?" How about that? Yes, it goes like, "Who's going to tell the child about Jesus? Who's going to tell the child about God? I believe it's my responsibility to tell the child about God." And it's your responsibility. So it's been a worldwide time talking to Dr. George Amadi, and I hope that Nigerians can get inspired and know that it's there is hope, and people like Dr. George Amadi have testimonies of how they can actually integrate into a foreign system and become citizens and, have their lives fulfilled. We can also, get that Nigerian dream born or reinvented. Thank you, Dr. George, for this time.
Thank you very much.
And it's really my pleasure. Thank you for watching. And we hope the next time we'll have another legal personality to give us insight about his personal life and his views about the world and how to make it better. Thank you, and God bless you. That's it.
Wow, thank you.